Yo, the birds are chirping. We're out here. It's our first outdoor church session. Beautiful Church of Chill. We're out here in New Jersey with Josh Craig.
Yo.
The Josh Craig. What the fuck, man?
What the fuck?
Damn. The last time we saw you was the last time we really saw anyone back in March.
Yeah.
God damn, did we not think that would be the last time we'd see anybody? What the fuck,
Doesn't
dude?
make me feel like I'm in this realm.
Yo, I know. You forget how much you need humans.
Yes. And I need y'all.
Yeah, man.
We're squad. So.
Oh, totally, man. Yeah, we need you. It's so strange just being back at the apartment. It's just us two there. Nobody's rolling through. We're not fucking smoking joints with you all the time, smoking goddamn chonga together.
You and Rape.
Yeah,
The
oh
goods.
my God.
The goods.
Yeah. Well, like you were saying, though, right before we got on here, he's like, and maybe you're the only one that could read this energetically. Like, we needed a break from all that shit. You know, you were over at our place many times when it's like, oh, everyone's smoking chonga and doing rape, and people are fucking purging all over the floor. And
Big purge. Big purge. It's like people are going there. It's like, I'm going to Greenpoint to go purge. You realize people live there, right?
Oh, my God.
This isn't like a paint bucket sink.
The slop sink.
The slop sink. That's what it is. The slop
It's
sink.
the cosmic slop sink. That
I
could be our
know.
next entity.
And no one wears their smock. They just go over there for the slop sink.
No, I swear to God, one time a motherfucker, he's sitting in like the middle seat of a 3-person couch. Doesn't even get up or anything. Just like kind of covered his mouth and it just came out everywhere. Yeah. But you you actually gave us something we quote all the fucking time. You brought over Guillermo's first time ever tripping on ass.
Mr. Broglia. My bro, GB.
Dude. Yeah, like you guys came over. It was like late. It was like 11 o'clock at night and we're just chilling. And I'm like, something's going on here. I'm like, I'm used to being around you tripping, but I'm like, something's here. And he's like, oh yeah, he's on acid. I'm like, yeah, I've got the guy's listening to us talk crying.
Yeah. He's like, I've never been so warm or I never had so much love around me before. I'm like, welcome home, brother.
Yeah.
And he's just like, thank you so much, man. I'm like, that's how it is. Sometimes you need a crash course to just be like, this is how it really is.
Oh yeah, when your ego melts away, what a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's why we hit it off right away. Like I think the first or second time we hung out, we took mushrooms and it was like,
Yep.
Oh, you gave us that THC weed too.
Oh my God.
THC weed.
That RSO.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
CBD or whatever.
Rich
2,000 milligram.
yeah.
You were like,
syringe.
oh, it's like pure CBD. It won't get you high. So I was just like, or you didn't say it won't get you high, but I didn't know. So I put a lot in. I was like, oh, this is like healing stuff. I was like, I'm going for it. And then I just like melted. And
Yeah.
you guys worked through some shit.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that's all we're ever doing. We're just working through some shit.
No, when Guillermo was over, I just have to say this. It was so great because, this is like probably
Guillermo's from Spain, by the way, and
Yeah,
barely
Mallorca,
speaks
an
English.
island.
He barely speaks English.
Barely. Like 38%.
So of course Josh is giving him like a bigger dose of LSD for his first time
sorry.
in Brooklyn, and he hasn't been there for very long. He's meeting new people, and he's like totally overwhelmed with emotion. And then he like looks up at us, and it was so beautiful. He's like, "So I'm God," and we're like, "Yeah, man,
Yeah, dude.
yeah." And he's like,
And this moment is my destiny.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yes, man.
Yeah, you guys really
yeah,
remember
dude.
it.
And then he's like,
He's like, and you guys can read my thoughts.
and we're like, no,
No,
it's not like
I
that.
read your thoughts.
Yeah,
I remember
we
that.
don't want to take it into paranoia, but I think you can't help it at a certain point. Because he would look at me with the most loving, like motherly look ever, and then 5 seconds later, I'm like, "Are you about to fucking jump over and attack me?"
Yeah, and he's just like, and he was looking at me. He's like, looking at me. I'm like, what are you gonna do, bro? Like, remember, you gotta go get your bags from my place to go to the airport.
Yeah.
So he's just like,
yeah,
you're right. He's like, I don't want to go back to Spain, man. I was like, I know you don't.
I know.
That's why I wanted to let you have this experience before you go back, so you can know how much you have to look forward to next time you want to leave.
Yeah,
God,
And
I
you can
wish
set a bar.
you were the first person to have dosed me. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good way to get dosed.
it
but-
melts so many borders, man. It didn't fucking matter he couldn't speak English.
Yeah.
Like, he was loving it. We were just having a great night, man.
Yep.
I
Yep.
did hide the knives, though.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, good call, Cass. But then Guillermo was like, that morning when, mind you, he had to fly back to Mallorca that morning at like 9 a.m. And I had to bring him all the way back here to New Jersey to get his bags.
Damn.
And we're just chatting, and he's just like, man, like, I feel so bad. I'm so embarrassed. I was like, embarrassed about what, bro? I was like, you didn't throw up on the floor, A. B, you didn't try to kill anybody. And I was like, C, you expressed how you felt inside. I was like, don't ever be embarrassed to express yourself and how you emotionally feel, you know? And he was like, thank you, man.
That was literally one of the best experiences at our apartment ever. That's
Yeah,
I'm like,
too.
that's why we do it. That's why we want people to come through, and that's why we want to.
Well, we're good at holding space for that. But
Yeah.
I love that was like a spontaneous one. We're like, oh, cool. We thought this was a normal chill. Let's get real chill right now. Hide the knives chill.
Hide the knives chill, dude. Yeah. GB speaks so highly of you guys, man.
Yeah,
he
man.
speaks mad highly of you guys.
Yeah.
He's got mad love for y'all, yo.
Yeah,
Same.
fellow
It's
filmmaker.
Pretty dope. Yeah.
We have so much love for him.
Squad.
I hope we can all chill again someday. And like,
Yeah. In Mallorca. It'd be
Yeah.
really nice.
dude.
Fuck yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's what this fucking thing did to me, man. I'm like, we're sitting there and we're by ourselves and we're like, who the fuck are our homies? And it's easy to lose track when no one's coming through. But then you start thinking, I'm like, all right, who's important to me? Who I can't wait to spend time with the second week. That's why we're out here, man. You know, we were trying to do this weeks ago. It probably would have been even more inappropriate then.
Yeah.
But shit, a lot of fucking shit has gone down since we saw each other, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck? This whole
Yeah.
country's burning up.
Yeah, from the inside out.
Yeah.
America is indigestion right now. We've been eating a lot of acidic food and a lot of starchy foods, and now we're burping up and it doesn't smell too good. And people are not accustomed to building windmills to push out the fumes, so we would have to use some type of Palo Santo or something to defuse the aura of America right now.
Yeah, we need to sage this fucking whole country right now.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, so for instance, before we got into this Church of Chill episode, I was doing a panel discussion. It was about sound and pretty much sound technology, sound healing, neuroscience, and visualizing the effects of sound on the brain, and also sound meditation and how different forms and methods of using sound to communicate with your subconscious and your soul to further advance the understanding of what is going on inside you. So it would be the further understanding of what's going on in self and outside of self. So being in a panel with so many brilliant people, it reminded me how much it really didn't remind me because it never left my mind. It refueled the motor that is my ever-lying basis of sound is the foundation of community. It is the basis of creation. It is the basis of longevity, and it is the structural value of existence, because with those elements of believing in something, not someone or not some entity, but believing in something, and a thing it's a vibration. And if you believe in that vibration and how it could move you, and if you truly believe firmly in where it could propel you, then you really start to have faith in life. Because in society itself, a lot of people don't have faith in society because they don't have faith in their lives. And if you have faith in something, and I'm not talking in a biblical or a religious or any scriptural context, I'm talking about if you have faith in the feeling of being able to feel to the point where you don't assume that your life is just this numb void of an opportunity to prolong existence, but when you actually feel something and it motivates you to push people to feel something inside themselves, because the heartbeat is just your heart is beating. That is your feeling. And a lot of people don't feel their hearts beat. They don't feel their lungs in like contract and then, they don't feel that. They just talk, eat shit, sleep, and wake up in the morning and go back to work. That isn't feeling anything. So you're not even existing. You're playing a role in a film possibly, but you're not existing, and you don't partake in any aspect of the script or the screenplay or anything. You're existing on screen, but you don't even know you're being recorded because you don't feel it. If you're on set, as you guys always know, you know what a Kino light feels like. You know what I mean? You know what a 4K, like a RE4K light feels like. That shit's hot, dude. It burns.
Yeah.
And you feel when you're on set. But a lot of people, they don't feel when they are on set. And I think that when you look at life for what it is, if you don't have that feeling, you'll never realize where you are. Because if the earth is resonating at a certain tone, and if it's always moving in whatever direction and whatever, compulsive state, if you don't feel that, then you're just floating away.
Right.
And you're living in an abyss. And I think America is that right now. I think the people of this country are living in an abyss, and they're coming to terms with the fact that they've been floating away all this time.
Right.
Because there's no one around them, regardless of how they look. They realize that they're floating away. And
There's no spirit. We're not grounded.
That's what I mean. They're floating away, and they're looking for something to hold on to. Like, man, I gotta, no, please, that's my.
They'll hold on to white supremacy. They'll cling to the cops. They'll cling to institutions.
People cling on to their communities of all supremacies.
Yeah.
People feel the idea that, okay, and I'm probably the only one who is like beyond brave, who is just honest enough with self and has traveled so far out of the bounds of America. And hell, you know, my family is like first class, like segregated South. You know, they've been dealt a lot of cards on fire, you know, and like dealing with all that and being raised the way I've been raised and having them give me the upbringing that has made me into who I am and beyond, even parts of myself which I still haven't found yet. There is this underlying value system that is everyone is fucked up until they find themselves.
Yeah.
And even a lot of my friends who are like marching and a lot of my friends who are making posters and a lot of people who are like proclaiming that they're affected by this lack of civil justice in this country, when it's just it's a game to them and they feel as if it's my turn to be involved in it. And like I talk to my parents all the time. I'm always on the phone with my dad. I'm always talking to my mom. I'm always talking to my siblings. I'm always talking to my ancestors in my dreams, like on some real shit.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, there are people of this country who assume that, well, my life hasn't mattered in court up until this point. I need everyone to step outside of themselves and to realize that I do matter, and I don't have to be in a penal situation with the law to assume the position of existence.
Yeah.
And then there's another aspect of America who sees themselves as, well, my community doesn't want to exist with people of that community, and until people from that community come to terms with that, we don't want to work with them. And then there's the people who are like, well, we just want to exist with everyone because we don't have time for prejudice. We just want to be in a peaceful place where we can raise our children and our children can play together and we can come up with brilliant ideas and create our own circle of capital. That's the think, feel, and react community. It's the people who only exist in their thoughts. And then there are the people who only feel, which are just projections of what you've experienced in your mind. And then there are the people who can see outside of both of those things and try to exist in a realm that doesn't live under the weight of those other things.
Right.
It's when you think and then you feel and then you react, then you have a chance to fully see things in a three-dimensional aspect. But once you make that movement, then you're stepping into a fourth-dimensional aspect. And then when you have compassion from that, then you're in a fifth-dimensional aspect. And once you start to keep going deeper and deeper into that, you go further into that, and you start to lose this classist idea that because I look a certain way, I either don't matter as much or I matter more. It's like, dude, has anyone talked to anybody who's blind? And how do they feel when there's a website they want to go to and there's no websites are made for the blind. There's no audio HTML for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their lives don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Yeah.
I was just talking to someone who's blind, and he's like, man, I cry every day because I can't even listen to the internet because people don't curate websites for my sound. That's what I was saying about Church of Chill. All people have to do is just press play, and they can go on forever.
Yeah.
It's like the value of sound you're building. You're reaching out to a community that can't even see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I think that is the idea of when you study what the iris and the retina does, and you understand what your pupils do and what goes on in your eyes and how it absorbs all of this light and how it emits. It's like certain bodies of radiation absorb and then they emit, okay? And then other things reflect. So when you have things that go in and then they come out, a lot of things are perceived based off of experience. And when you look at something, it's based off of what you've grown to see and process, as your computer is. It's a processor, right? So when things come in your eyes, what you see going out is what you've trained that algorithm to react to, right? People of this country and people of this world, they have so many hues of this color spectrum that are going in, but they don't have the patience to tap into the ultraviolet aspect of viewing life. So they only see the red, the green, and the blue. There is no yellow to them.
There's no nuance.
There is no nuance. It is only the three colors that they see. But once you can tap into that ultraviolet perception of life, you can see past those things that have been led there for you. And once you start to see past that, then you can really start to feel what life is, because you can feel all colors. That's what sonochromatic art is when you can encompass the sounds of these colors and create portraits. And then, that's what I've been doing the past 3 months, is just really, really diving deep into sound, light, and light sound, and finding ways to tap into the unknown. A lot of people are researching it, especially like the neuroscientists and the binaural and spatial sound community have been researching these things, but the communities that they're in are very structured and very grounded through finance, through trust and family names. But the communities that, for some reason in America, I'm just like put in this community because I look a certain way. When you are in a community that isn't as stable emotionally and as stable visibly or financially or emotionally or mentally, because there's just so many things thrown at the community of people of color in America. And I'm like, I feel really grateful to even be in this position to talk about this, because my view on it is very grounded from researching and existing in it as well. But the other communities, like I was saying, like the binaural, the spatial, and the neuroscience communities, they're based off of research. But when you research something and you exist in it and you find ways to not just experiment, but to come up with conclusions that can affect this community for the better, that's when you're really in a position to not just be a student. You can also teach, you can also experience, and you can also sample from everything that you've learned from the people who come up to you, and you could build yourself up from that. And talking to them, it's just reminded me how much this world has just lost its way. And, people know things, but they don't know how to apply it. A lot of people know music, but they don't know how to apply it to their day-to-day lives. They know how to make money off of it. They know how to go play a set and make their rent. They know how to look cool. They know how to get like social statistics, which is followers, but they don't know how to apply it. I think that when you study sound, and then you study visual, and you study your emotions, and then you study what community is, and then you study the structure of losing all those things and only existing in a moment, that's when you can really start to create a better foundation of a society. And that's what America needs, is people who are able to go inside of all those things and then step outside of all of those and select which one is worthwhile at that time, so that we can all move towards a direction that isn't so catastrophic. Because when you look at COVID, it's a catastrophe.
Yeah.
When you look at the civil unrest of America, it's a catastrophe.
Yeah.
When you look at the political downplaying of America, it's a catastrophe. And when you look at just the financial structure of this country, emotionally, physically, and mentally, is just like, it's a catastrophe. There isn't that much beauty in a general populace in this country that we should all be looking forward to. We don't even want to think about some of the stuff that's going on because it's so heavy. And when you're trying to float, but you know that you have your rope tight, it's like the images of people in space or whatever, and they're like, I'm floating, but I have this like cable which will always bring me back, and then it snaps, and you're like, oh shit, I'm like Jamie Lee Curtis, just like yeah.
Untethered.
Exactly. I think it's good to put yourself in positions of being overly aware, where you can feel everything, but also knowing how to turn those emotions off so you don't get buried in them. I think right now, there's a lot of emotions that are floating around in the world, and people don't know how to breathe even when you're being suffocated. It's like a qigong type thing, knowing how to like, and then right there on it, It's like even these conversations are the most important thing. I think that's what corporations lack. That's why these startup tech companies and stuff, their MO is, we can pay people as much as we want because our angel investors are paying us whatever we want on a blank check. But it's the comfort levels and how relaxed we make our employees. We want them to have a couch. We want them to have a plant-based open bar for this. We want you to be able to bring guests in whenever they want, as long as they sign in and we check their bags. We want to make sure that you have we're going to give you every piece of equipment from our company. We're going to fly you around and give you vacation days. As long as you're comfortable and you can breathe, you're going to be one of us, right? It's sort of like a financial cult.
It
But
is.
when you take those things away, people are just free falling. It's like you come on the West Coast, it's different over there. It's like, wow, look at all this trust to my company. And you go over to the East Coast, people are like, I don't even want to go to work.
Yeah, totally.
That's the vibe.
Yeah.
I think that comfort level of, if you can make people comfortable, then maybe you'll figure something out. And these conversations bring comfort to people. It relaxes them. There isn't.
So they can hear again.
Exactly. You can't charge people for a conversation because the emotion that comes out of it is worth more than anything you could have charged them to enter it.
Right.
You know, I think that's what these corporations don't get, and they do get it. That's why they try to like give you these temporary aspects of enjoyment, like, oh yeah, here's this open bar of like plant-based stuff, and here's this open bar of like kombucha and mate, you know, like, but you're gonna have to go back to work in an hour. Don't get too comfortable. But these conversations can last a lifetime.
Glimpses of freedom. They like to give you little glimpses of what it's like.
Yeah.
But they always want you to put it off.
Let's call this episode "Glimpses of Freedom."
Yeah, glimpses of freedom. That. There you go.
I like that.
Cool. Yeah, we'll get that. I mean, that's what we're doing. I think like that's what was so valuable even about this time. I think for a guy like you who you were going at a different fucking pace than anyone I know, not just than you're doing now before all this happened. So you're in the clubs, you're in fucking Magic City, we're playing over here, we're doing this at constant. Your ears are tuned to a different thing, to an audience, to what they're reacting to. This isolation, now you're making medicine that we need. Yeah. And fuck, you know what's crazy as I say this, I'm thinking about how sound is being weaponized against protesters. You know that you see that's like the new thing. Like because it's so powerful, they know that they could use that to fucking dissipate any crowd pretty much.
All you need is just a siren. If you listen to a siren loud enough, it'll burn your ears out. There's certain high band frequencies and low band frequencies that can cripple your body.
Really?
But if you expose yourself to them, you can build out an immunity to sound. And trust me, I've been to the edge of sound. I've heard and made some really
how can you even hear anymore?
Yeah, I know. Well, I retune my stuff and I train my ears. I only listen to music that's pure and that has a positive message, so that my ears aren't being pulled apart. They're actually being comforted. Yeah. You know, like you've been to a lot of my sets, and you've heard, even if the music's electronic, there's nothing like catastrophic about it. Some of it's a little bit dark and strange.
But sometimes you make something and you listen back and you're like, I don't know if I should even be putting this out in the world.
Yep. I'm just like, hey now. Yeah. And then other times I'm just like, this is the best thing that's ever happened. But lately I've been, since I haven't had to make music for anything, I've only been making it to feel something. So, it's like I'm not earning anything physical from any of these sounds. I'm just feeling stuff. It's kind of crazy. Like, you can't give me a prize for half the stuff I'm making.
It's love. It's for the love.
It's hella love, yo. Like,
and you're on that straight edge tip right now.
Man, I've been straight edge for so damn long, yo. Like, conversation gets me stoned, like yoga and stuff gets me stoned. But when I want to get ripped, sometimes a little flour, a little whatever helps, But right now I'm just sitting here and I'm just remembering all the good times that I've had growing and expanding with y'all. And it's like, I feel like I'm floating right now. You know what I'm saying? Right on. It's hella dope, I put myself in a position to not get overwhelmed with the world, because a lot of people are really, really messed up with a lot of stuff, I probably personally know like 6 people who've passed away from COVID, and they know another 6 people, then they all know another 6 people. Yeah. That's damn near a whole family tree, and I also know more people than that who've lost their jobs. I know a lot more people than that who are homeless, living in their cars and their vans. I know a few people, more people who are just on the edge of suicide. Yeah. Yeah. And like, that's why I'm making these sounds. Yeah. It's because even for those people who feel they're numb, they can't feel that heart, they can't feel that breath, they don't feel that taste, they can't even eat anything that they enjoy anymore because they're numb to the joy of life. Yeah. That's why I create these sounds. That's why I carry myself the way I do. I can't just be another member of the charade, because if I assume that character of the charade group, then I lose it all. That's when the ego starts to play in. Yeah. You see the ego that's existing in the world right now, don't you? Yeah. It's toxic. I don't got time for any of that. No. Like, I would assume the position to communicate with anyone of any walk of life. I don't care if you're wearing a white hood or if you're wearing a black, mask. This shit don't matter to me. Like, I know what's behind that. And I know what's inside of there. You know what I mean? And even if you try to take me out of here, I got enough tracks to last a lifetime. It'll make you melt. I just don't want... Nice. I want people to realize that a lot of the things we are protesting in this life, we can change ourselves from the inside. There's not a lot of children of these parents, of these family trees, who have ever had an opportunity to conversate with anyone like us. and it's up to us to reach out to and to make our tools available for those people to use and apply to tighten up their own lives. It's the power of the creator, it's the power of the communication, it's the power of the visibility of the arts, is to know that there are people who you have not experienced or met in your life who are yearning for that experience because it'll change the way they feel about other people. There's nothing you can put on anybody's plate and ask them to digest, which is going to change the way people look at each other in this world. The only way they're going to get better at it is if you give them an opportunity to understand just what lies in your mind. And if it's pure, then they'll be like, damn, yo, this dude's kind of groovy, man. Like, what? Like, no way, man. Was I really thinking like that my whole life? Like, maybe I shouldn't drink this anymore. Maybe I shouldn't eat that anymore. Maybe I shouldn't say these words anymore. Maybe I shouldn't afflict physical harm to people anymore like that. It'll bring you down, man. It'll take you somewhere. And then when you stand up, you're going to feel how light you are because all that baggage is gone. And you're never going to want to look at anybody and call them anyway. But you need to be there for those people who are living in that negative space. You can't just look at someone and be like, well, you don't get it. Psh, to hell with you. It's like, no, you don't get it. Let me give you an opportunity because we ain't got nothing but time to try to at least, I'm not going to change your life. And I'm not going to change the way you look or feel about anything. I just want to change the way you process information from other people.
Yes.
Building patience. And the surrounding body of people on this planet. I think that's the one thing is we don't have any patience.
No.
We don't have patience to research.
No.
We just think, oh, yeah, I watched the video on a website.
The headline.
Yeah, I read a headline. I know. It was like, oh, statistics say that this is the amount of people who are affected by this. So, and I'm just like, have you spoken to anybody who lives like this? Have you been in another country where people are actually in a worse position than this? Do those people actually reach out to you for compassion and check in on you? So you are only a statistic. You don't have the value of being the journalist because you're only living on paper. But once you step outside of that, once again, you step off of the script and you assume the position of the person who's not only on the stage, you can go home at the end of the day. That's when you really start to live. That's why, like with me and Guillermo, for instance, it's like where he lives at in Spain, man, there's some of the poorest people I've ever seen in my life, dude. They don't have power and they don't have electricity or running water. They're living in old castles that are crumbling with no ceilings. They call themselves gypsies. And they don't allow anybody in their neighborhood. There's no police. There's no Whole Foods. There's no financial aid. They go and they take what they have or they grow what they have. And you wouldn't even know because they're happy because they have their community and they're safe and they're existing with their families.
Yeah.
But people of America think they got it bad. They couldn't be gypsies. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle being a gypsy. No way. No way. And I understand people that go, you can't call people gypsies. I was like, that's what they call themselves. So it's okay. Like, I'm not, not subjecting anyone. It's just what the people of Mallorca call themselves. Like, a gypsy. It's like flamenco is the music of the gypsy. You know what I mean? Like Camarón and Paco de Lucia, like that's some of my favorite music because I relate to that the hardships of living through things and you put it in your music. Like that's what flamenco is. And, it's important for people to interact in different cultures and you won't have such a bias to people who don't look and feel like you. You can at least have the respect to listen to what they're saying and have the patience to grow with them,
Yeah. So you want to play some music? Should we heal together?
Yeah. I got some stuff for you guys. I got a few cassette players here. Let me see which one I want to play.
Every time we do this, you have some different medium you're playing it off. You're playing shit off VHS the first time we were hanging out, man.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. We've done some records. We've done all kinds of shit.
Okay, so
this should be good, man. I'm psyched. I'm gonna fucking just go into outer space. I'm gonna take a few puffs on this thing, and hopefully you don't get fucked with.
Oh no, you're good, bro. Don't you see all those like Dutch rappers and Bluntville packages everywhere?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're good.
Do you want a joint? I mean, if I could pass you.
I'll take like 2 hits.
I'm just gonna give you a joint, so you don't have
perfectly.
to.
Yeah, Cass was telling me that on the phone. I appreciate that.
Cass, can you grab me out of the front pouch of my bag there?
So I'm gonna give you guys a little breakdown on once Cass sits down. I guess we'll be live. So what this is? Oh, we're live. Perfect.
Yeah.
So this is the ambient tape here. This is a tape comprised of a few selections that I compose, which are all for the better of grounding yourself and stepping outside of the emotional prejudices that you are running from in oneself, and also it gives you a time to just like chill out, just vibe out, and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna chill for a minute because there's a lot of things going on right now. And I made this tape for everyone, and then I also have my new album, which is called Hear Me Now. I have a few tracks off of there. So if I have time, maybe I'll play it, but I think I'm just going to let the ambient tape rock because it's so heavy. So let me just get this started.
I love that. Hear Me Now. That's a good title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the ambient tape is called The Search for Answers.
Right.
Yeah. So. Oh, we got to turn on the...
Oh, Cass, yeah, can you turn up the LR channel? Here's a lighter for you. And there's a joint right there in that.
Oh, sure. Okay, good.
Ooh.
I hear it. All right, you're good. I can adjust it over here.
Cool. Here we are. The light is lingering. Just enough. Just enough for me to have a puff.
Come on, Sean. Just enough to have a puff.
Fuck yeah, dude. This is rad.
I told you. I'm like, welcome back.
Nice.
Welcome back, y'all. thinking music.
Yeah. Always has the Josh Craig signature.
Where it feels like musical DMT.
Yeah.
I try to explain it to people, but they wouldn't understand because they've never done it. But some people, I'll say, yeah, I sort of make music that reminds people of a psychedelic realm. They're like, yeah, man, like, I feel like I'm tripping just listening to it. I'm like, really? You mean that? It's like, yeah, man, this music makes you feel a little kind of fucking, a little out there. And I'm like, really?
I mean, you're drugs, and then on top of you being drugs, your music is drugs.
Yeah.
It's the score to the realm.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. The score to the realm. I always believe that when you can do that, you know, you might have something else special about you when you can communicate to the spiritual world. Because when people say they're high, they mean you're changing my level of like consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it means to be when people worship. You know what I mean? Like when somebody's like, your music gives me high, I'm like, damn, I feel like you worshiping me right now with that shit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because sound does that to people. And a lot of people trick them and become like these Bible Belt pastors with like private jets and stuff. But they're using words that are like mantra words. If you read them out loud enough, you can, you know, just off the verbatim of the words, you can get people to be spiritually influenced. But I think music without words that can do that, that's when you really transcend. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like with this music is like, man, like, I know what it's doing, because it does it to me. Like, it's shit is wild, bro. Like, being able to wield that type of stuff and tap into it, I don't want to go outside, yo. I only want to make this type of stuff because I want to bring people somewhere. Like, I just want to bring them somewhere because they're stuck right now.
Yeah.
Keep going in a cycle. As soon as you can go back outside, people are just going to want to go back to bars and clubs in the same old rotation.
Lower the vibration.
Not
get
like,
high.
Yeah, man. I'm like, yo, come back home for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, this is for you.
Yeah.
I only want people to, like, you know, walk away with something pure. And when you can do that and bring somebody that way, that's what I mean with these scientists and stuff, and these like well-off people who have the tools, the research, who could buy a big synth, who can buy an EEG machine, who can buy all, like, you know, the flights to go to Cali just to go do tours of UCal, Berkeley and stuff. A lot of people can't do that, and they still feel something when they listen to this music. But for me to be able to create this music like this and not have a laboratory, not have anybody training me, not having the resources to go to different like healing centers and stuff, and just being able to just tap into this is like, it's a reminder to me, like, you're not just like everybody else. Like, you have gifts, you have things that you were born with that are going to help you change this world, because everybody in the world doesn't have what you have. You know what I mean? So if you could bring that out of people, you can change the world. You know what I mean? I truly believe so.
Remind them that they have it.
Yep. Because everybody has it. It's just, you know, they've had a lot of things to suffocate that.
for doing it. Josh Craig, how can people get more of your shit? Get more of this medicine? Come on. Don't be stingy about it.
I won't be stingy. Yeah, just thejoshcraig.com.
Cool.
Everything will be up there. Was the music/art/ I'll make a /Church of Chill.
Nice.
And,
Yeah, you should. I mean, this is your 3rd episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These have been incredible, man. Thank you so much, man.
Of course, yo. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me come and bless y'all with these vibes. You already know.
That was incredible.
See.
Take us
Peace
away,
and
Josh.
love.
Thank you so much.